All right. Welcome back to the Not Sober Podcast. This is episode 2 of Skyscraper Conversations. And today this is a solo podcast. There's questions that I want to ask people, though. I might do another one where I'm asking people or like leave an answer for what you think of it. But I got one question that's like just the question that I want to talk about, and the other 3 questions are all like together. Like they're questions to explain each other. You know what I mean in a minute. But the first question is, can we ever act out of self-interest? Can we ever act without self-interest? I said that all wrong. But the reason I put this is because when I didn't make this question. I didn't make this question, but I found it online, and when I read it, damn, why my voice feel like that? Fuck it. When I read it, the first thought, like I had 2 thoughts at the same time. The voice in the back of my head was like, I feel like a lot of people would say no. Like when I thought about the question, I wasn't even thinking about my answer yet. That's the first thing I thought. And then me in the front, I was like, I feel like you low-key can't, because even though I want to say yeah, like for myself too, because I do acts that I feel like ain't out of self-interest. But the more I think about it, like donating or giving money to homeless people, right? When I first start giving money to homeless people, I was just doing it like because they asked for it or believe that they actually need it. And next, it's like I started doing it. Like after I was doing it for a while, it's like I was only doing it for the feeling that I get. Basically, like I give a homeless person money because it makes me feel good. It used to be because I feel like they need it, but I did it so much, and now it's like it feels like it is kind of out of self-interest. And in the most, like, what's that word? I forgot the word, but not in a bad way though. In the most positive way, like acting out of self-interest in the most positive way. I think that was the word, positive. But and there was another question, I didn't write it down, but it goes on with that as well. And it was saying, if a person does, how do I remember this shit? If a person does a good thing for the wrong, or if a person does the right thing, a good thing for the wrong reason, then is it still good? Or the right, no, it said if a person does the right thing for the wrong reason, is it still good? And like, that's the same thing, like acting out of self-interest. Like if somebody starts a charity for giving homeless people housing or food, or people food in Africa, right? But they didn't start it because they believed in it. They started it because they wanted an easy way to make money. But it's a good thing, right? So is the thing still good when they did it for the wrong reason? Which honestly, I feel like bottom line, no matter how much you argue about it or talk about like people saying that they started it because they care, if they did do it out of self-interest, which we wouldn't know because they wouldn't say it, I feel like bottom line is, I guess it's still a good thing just because they are still giving money to homeless people. Money towards homeless people. Well, other people money, but it's still for a good cause if they're actually doing it. So I feel like, yeah, they kind of can. Let me know what y'all think about that. But back to this. I'm gonna just say no. I'm gonna say no. I don't think you can act out of self-interest, even though I feel like you actually can. I feel like, of course, if we're asked for stuff, asked to do it, or somebody that we love, but I still feel like most people, or they do it because they know that people see them as a good person. Is that out of self-interest? Because I feel like it kind of is. Not in like a bad way. I'm not trying to say people are bad people, but I feel like most deeds and stuff is still out of self-interest in a way. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but that's my opinion on it. opinion. And then the second one is, if your identity is always changing, do you ever really have a self? And I wrote this down because when I read it, I instantly start thinking about like my childhood, right? And stuff, how stuff happened. The stuff that happened made me who I am today. So it's like before that stuff happened, yes, I was still me in a way, but that was a different me. So I feel like you have two selves. Like you have your consciousness is you, and then your brain or body is you, right? But it's like this, they're both connected, but they're separate. So your consciousness was the same when you was a kid, like you remember, and that was still you. But your body and your brain wasn't the same. You didn't know as much. It wasn't as developed. So it was still you. Like your consciousness was the same, but your body is the same, but it's changed. That makes sense? Let me hold on. Like consciousness. So, yeah, your identity is always changing. So like your consciousness was the same, which your consciousness still in a way like grew. Not really, because you're just conscious, but like your brain. That what was our example? What was the example? Let's just say you don't know how to do a backflip. So the you that didn't know how to do a backflip is still you, but it's a different you at the same time. It's still you, you're conscious, but the body is different. The brain level is different. So it's still you, but it's different. If y'all got it, y'all got it. Hopefully I did it right. Explained it right. And then the next one is to help explain that one, kinda. It says, if consciousness is just the brain, what happens when it stops? And is that all we are? And I read that one after I read the first one, and I was like, well, if I would have read that question before I thought about the first question, then it would have made sense. But now that I did the first question, it's like, your consciousness ain't just your brain. Like, when you think about it that way, like, you have two selves. Because you know, like, the you that didn't know how to do a backflip was still you. But that you didn't know how to do a backflip, and now you do. So it's two different yous, right? But it's still the same you. So I feel like your consciousness is not your brain. You know what I'm saying? What happens if it stops? But yeah, I just feel like it's not. How do I explain that? Consciousness, your brain. Oh yeah, no, I was just putting that to explain the first one. Like, I don't think your consciousness is just your brain. Is it all we are? No, but it's all we are. You know, like your consciousness without your brain and your body wouldn't be you, because you are your consciousness and your body put together. You know what I mean? I think I got it now. I think I just explained it right. And then the next one, I put it just because I was thinking about that too, like consciousness and body, and what happens if it stops. That part, and that part is why I put this next question, and it's, why do we fear death if it's natural and inevitable? I was gonna make a whole video on this, but then I thought about it, like, who the fuck is about to watch a video talking about death? Like, the whole video is just death. But I was gonna put it because I thought about how I think about it, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to even give an answer. I'm just trying to ask like the right questions, and hopefully because obviously I'm thinking about it too. So hopefully you could get your answer to why you do or don't fear death, and I do too, and I get mine. So I had like different standpoints of thinking of it and what the fuck was I saying? What was the question? Oh yeah, why do we fear death? Is never fearing death. Like, I feel like people in different parts of the world, not different parts of the world, but different circumstances. Some people put like the fear of death as a weakness or something. But on one of these topics, and the reason why I wasn't gonna do a whole podcast on this, because like talking about this in person, like I'm not the kind of person to just bring it up in a conversation. But when I'm around people that talk a lot and it gets to this conversation, I keep going, and it's like people don't want to talk about it. Like, they avoid it more than a nigga with a scarf and a book bag. But, and I was like thinking about it from right here, from a biological and I forgot how to say that word, evolutionary angle, from a biological and a evolutionary angle. The fear of death is low key like a strength, like it's smart. It's a survival tactic, right? So I was thinking some people probably still think about like their brain is that way. They think about it, or they don't even know why. It's just like a, um, a survival tactic, and it's like hardwired through generations, and that's why I feel like that could be one reason, you know. And then like I thought like this through different points in my life too. So this is the first time that I was putting them all into paper, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I used to fear death when I was younger, and I didn't even know why. So then after I thought about it, then I started fearing it for a different reason, you know. But and even though I feel like the way I think about death now is good, or like me not really fearing it, but in a way I feel like it's bad, because if we was in a motherfucking in a survival place, you know, like in the wild, like animals, if I felt about death how I did now, I'd probably die. So it's like maybe it's not good to feel how I feel about it, because I'm not really scared no more. But the second one is a psychological standpoint, and it's because, well, everybody know that humans like to be in control of stuff, and they like to know stuff. And from the psychological, my God, psychological standpoint, it's death is the ultimate unknown, right? And nobody likes stuff that they don't know. Like nobody's gonna wanna, you know what I mean? I shouldn't have to explain that. You know, people just usually don't like stuff that they don't know. And the reason that I'm saying I don't think it's smart for me now is because I'm curious. I like stuff that I don't know now. But if they feel like they don't control it, you know, so people, yes, the ultimate unknown, and nobody, like, you have to confront it, but you don't know what it is and you can't control it. So that's might be why people fear it, and that's why I feared it at a point. And from a philosophical and existential, I think that's how you say it, angle. And I wrote all this down. I wrote all of this down when I was high. It's not like too sloppy, but I wrote it because I knew I was gonna forget. But I don't know why I can't read this shit right now. Probably because I'm not sober. But for that one, it says it challenges meaning and identity. And a point in my life, I thought about this too. I'm not trying to make this like a way to put me in it, like about me. What the fuck? Anyway, I'm just trying to give an example. But at a point in my life, I was scared, or not even just scared of death. I feared death because like I was thinking about life, and I was like, damn, if I'm gonna just die, then what's the meaning of life? And it's like, if life don't have a meaning, then why am I doing the shit that I'm doing? And then I was like, it was like that, and I was stuck in a trance. Like I used to always think about it. But yeah, what was the point of me reading those? Oh yeah, those are like different ways. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. I'm gonna try to remember what I was thinking when I was reading it. But I was gonna make a whole episode just because I want to understand it. I want to understand it more, and I want everybody else or anybody that's watching it to understand it more. Just because it's not like, oh, you like talking about death, but it's like, nigga, that nobody has that conversation. Nobody really talks about it. Oh yeah, no, there's one more way to see it, which for all the people that it is, my bad. And it's from a religious way, right? And I used to think about it like this too. I was scared of going, like in 7th grade, I was like, damn, I gotta stop hanging out with my friends or I'm gonna go to hell. And then it's like I was thinking about death is like scared of going to hell and heaven. So that's one reason why people fear it. But the reason that I didn't add that one on the paper is because there's too many religions and too many different, like they say, well, it is all kind of the same in a way, but it's still different. And if it's 100,000, I'm gonna use Christian for example. Nothing against religion or Christians. I respect all religions, but I'm not an atheist or nothing. But I just don't know, so I don't claim religion no more. I used to be Christian though, but and it's like, oh yeah, I used to believe in Greek too. I mean Greek, I'm gonna not get into that, but What was I saying, bro? What the fuck? Oh yeah, the reason that I didn't put it is because if there's 100,000 Christians, they're all gonna say they fear death for the same reason, because or a lot of Christians say they know they're going to heaven, but most people fear that's Christian because they don't know if they're going to heaven or hell. And the reason I didn't put it is because that would be 100,000 people saying they fear for the same reason. But I feel like you gotta actually think about it for yourself. Because when I was younger and I thought about it, it's like, all right, is it just that, or am I scared to like leave my family? You know. So I feel like everybody gotta actually think about it their own way instead of saying because heaven and hell. I'm not saying heaven and hell is not a place. I don't know, but I feel like to find your real reason, you gotta unblock those questions, because a lot of people that's in religion too, they don't want to have the conversations or think about it like, okay, what if it's not this way, because they believe that much in that religion. I respect that, but like, just to know more, you have to stop blocking stuff like that. And I want to know how people like. It's like the reason I want to know is because I talk to a lot of Christian people, and they don't have the conversations, obviously, because I feel like, or it's like disrespectful to their God. But all of y'all are giving me the same answer about heaven and hell, but I know deep down that you have another reason of why you fear it, but you're not gonna acknowledge it because of your religion. Which I'm not even saying that to say like I want to know, but I want people to know why. Like, I don't know, bro. I just feel like a lot of people don't pay attention to shit. I don't even know where that just went. I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. I forgot. When I just said that, I forgot about all the questions, and I was trying to bring something up. That was low key the whole thing, but I hope I explained that good. If I feel like I didn't, I might do it again. Like, no. Why did I say it like that? I said it like I'm mad. I might like recap it in the next episode so y'all get the understanding that y'all should. And yeah. I never asked for like, comment, and subscribe, because I really just want to do this because I like talking to people, and I like hearing myself talk too. And it's like, I do want people to see it, but I don't really give a fuck about like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, subscribe if you want to answer the questions and talk about it. Nobody be leaving comments and shit. I ain't asking for comments because of no fucking algorithm or the looks of it, nigga. I want to know what you think about the question, dickhead. I'm just playing. But yeah, leave a comment. I ask for a comment about what you think about it, and a subscribe if you want to have more stuff, have more questions like this. And these videos are the best if you're not sober. I can't show that probably. Like, I can't show the details. It was probably in the camera the whole time. I don't know. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, these videos is better if you're not sober. That's the whole point of this channel. Because if you sober, yeah, it'll probably be funny, but you'll think I'm a dickhead, you know? Which maybe I am, who knows? But if you're not sober too, then Skyscraper Conversations is actually, it's being high. And then there's Tipsy Talks, which is obviously, it explains itself. So for the Skyscraper Conversations, it would be better and you would understand it more if you was talking to me on the skyscraper, or if you was listening on the skyscraper. Because if you just listening from the ground and I'm on the skyscraper, you ain't gonna be able to hear me. You're just gonna see me like moving my hands, explaining shit. That explains it all. And if you're on the ground right now, you might not understand it. That's why you gotta get on the skyscraper. But yeah, leave a comment, maybe subscribe. You could like it if you want to. If you're on the ground right now, you might not understand it. That's why you got to get on the skyscraper.